It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's the college football of Canada. There will be a World Juniors. I think we're all excited that there will be a World Juniors. Maybe if you're locked up at home, you're going to have World Juniors to watch every day. They're going to play.
Now, it's Rod Pedersen.
Good day, Canada. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the RP Show. It's a very special Wednesday here in the bunker out here in Western Canada. It's your usual crew, RP here, Darren Moose DuPont there. Merry Christmas again,
Happy
Dupes.
holidays. Yes, Merry Christmas.
You're looking very much like a candy cane today.
I know.
Is there a reason?
I love it. You got to get the red and white in for a day like today.
Of course. Yes, exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, what a special treat for you here in the Christmas holidays. Today is what's become our annual World Juniors Hockey Special here on the Rod Pedersen Show. We're coming to you in hour one of the program on Facebook Live. And obviously we did it last year with some special guests. We got more special guests this year. The World Juniors are dropping the puck, guaranteed now, on Boxing Day. For our purposes, we only care about Canada. Well, maybe we don't, but we do. Right?
And with a slight interest in the U.S. now.
Yeah.
Because of our television audience.
Yeah, but I think that our viewers in America would understand what our rooting interest is for. So today, the point being, we're doing a deep dive on Team Canada with some very special guests today. I don't know where to start. Assistant coach Mitch Love will be joining us today. Longtime friend of the program. He is the head coach of the Saskatoon Blades. That's his club team, as they say, but he's the assistant coach with the World Juniors. He'll be joining us today from the Edmonton bubble. We'll also be joined by the goaltenders coach for Hockey Canada, Jason Labarabera, who the diehard hockey fans will know was just named the goaltenders coach for the Calgary Hitmen as well. So, hey, 2020, do I say the Hitmen? The Flames. Yeah, it was the Hitmen, now the Calgary Flames. 2020 hasn't been terrible for everybody.
No, it
certainly
hasn't.
not Jason Labarabera.
It's been good for him. It's been pretty good for Mitch Love, too. I mean,
that's true.
It's part of, when I look at Mitch, it's kind of a blessing a little bit. I mean, he would love to be in Saskatoon coaching, with the Blades. Gets more time with the family when he'd usually be taken away to coach, right? So that's also a nice thing, and getting to be with Team Canada is a treat.
Well, I guess we'll find out, because I don't think he's getting a lot of family time right now.
Not now, no.
No, this is like a soldier-like mission for Hockey Canada, and I'm hoping on today's program that maybe you'll get a sense for that. We'll see what these guys say about being close to a month in Red Deer and then into Edmonton for 4 days of quarantine and then into the bubble. This is a very strict thing. And along the way today, we will sprinkle in some of the intel besides what these guys tell us. You know that I've got contacts within the bubble, and I'll tell you the things that I'm hearing there. And also, it's not just a Hockey Canada show. Our hockey insider and our World Juniors analyst, Rich Sutter, is going to be joining us. Columbus Blue Jackets pro scout from Sportsnet Flames, Rich Sutter, will be joining us from Lethbridge. And we're very excited about this. But when I say that it is the annual program, Darren, I can tell you how much more I'm into it this year than last. For one, it was in the Czech Republic last year. I watched all the games. But I couldn't find my Hockey Canada tracksuit. Remember the trouble that I was going through last year?
Well, you said that's team issued, right, from 2012?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that, and you're like, I couldn't find it. And, it's good that you found it. I found some red and white in my closet, which was good. And but it's good that you've got it on today. You look very team official, team issued.
Well, it's actually serving me better than I thought, because I told you this is a heavy mother, as they say. It's Nike, which is the officially licensed apparel for Hockey Canada, but the trainer at the time for Team Canada, when I was calling the games on the Sportsnet radio network on 23 stations across the country, he tossed me this tracksuit. He said, "You're part of the team, put it on." Well, it's good to minus 40 grade. Whoa. Like, I got to look at what they call it, Thermoflex or something, whatever Nike does. Yeah. So I'm not melting under these lights, but if you were to go out and skate in minus 40 outdoors, this is what you would want to have on.
Wow.
Get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyways, I found the tracksuit. I found it. So I'm more into it. That displays that. Then you've got your Tom Brady 12 outfit on, and that, like I said, very candy cane-ish.
Very candy cane.
Last year, I can't remember that we wore red and white for the World Junior Special.
I'm trying to think, and, I don't think we did. I really don't think we did. We're a lot, but we were rookies back then. That was the first year, and we've taken steps forward, and we're becoming seasoned veterans of this show.
I also want to mention that not all of today's show is live. Julie Robenhymer will be joining us from EliteProspects.com and USA Hockey reporter out of New Jersey. She was on the program, 10 days ago or so, and we'll re-air that interview here today. But producer Clark has called up some graphics boards here, and let's get into the tournament because it is our World Juniors special here. And here's a look at the groups, and you're going to have to help me out a little bit with this, in that you're not going to get your traditional Canada-USA New Year's Eve clash because they're not in the same pool. I mean, you look at Canada's pool there, highlighted by Finland and Switzerland and Germany, who they play on the opening game. And then Group B, you got your Russia, you got your Czechs, you got your Swedes. So it's an interesting...
That's a tough division. Russia, Sweden, who have, it's been well documented their success in the round robin play without the losses. But Russia, Sweden, the Czechs, the Americans, and then you mix in Latvia at the bottom. It's quite a group. That's Austria. Thank you.
Yeah.
See, that's the one I was.
They also ran. Don't worry, I left off Slovakia in Canada's group.
I know. But that's a tough division, a tough real group. Canada would appear to have the softer group, but as you know, when you get into these games, they're all tough games.
I think that it's not even close what's more difficult. Mm-hmm. And we're not airing it here on our World Junior special, but I can tell you that a couple of weeks back, we had TSN's Craig Button on the program, and he predicted a Canada-Russia final. And coming up, Julie Robenhymer is going to give her prediction on who is the favorite going into the World Juniors. I'll give you a hint. It's neither Canada nor Russia. And I'm seeing the tweets. People are tweeting us this morning saying that they are way more excited for this World Juniors than they have been in many, many years. I think we all know why that is. We all know why the interest is so high. But I will say this. I was on TSN 1290 Winnipeg a couple weeks ago with Troy Westwood and Jim Toth, and they said, who's the favorite going in? Canada? And you know what my answer was? It's a hockey tournament. International. We'd better be the number one team going in to it, and we are the defending champions. Yeah. So I don't see how that could be a bad pick. It may not be right, but you can't tell me that they're not top two teams going into this.
Always, every year, no matter what. It's a deep group, tons of talent. The coaching staff, of course, is great. But that's Canada, no matter what. I mean, when we say Canada's got a down group, as you can see the lineup on the screen, even if they had a down year, they're still a favorite when it comes to this the World Juniors, always. And you look at, I think it's a smart group. I mean, Kirby Dach, we know him. He had so much success with the Chicago Blackhawks, great in the playoffs. He comes with raw talent. Connor Zeri's going to get his opportunity finally. But, you go through this roster. Cole Perfetti, another high-end talent. Ryan Suzuki. Peyton Krebs is such a smart, dynamic player who can do so many different things. He sees the game so well. He's a captain in Winnipeg. So there's that type of opportunity. Dylan Cousins, who's such a great athlete, and he's so pro-ready that he'll bring another element. Connor McMichael as well. They're deep in goal. So there's a lot of good things to see in this group. And then on the back end, from the Western side, getting to see Bowen Byram again, who will be a top anchor on the blue line, and Caden Gooley getting a chance. That's fun. Braden Schneider, Caden Korczak, these are all guys from the Western League. So I don't know that I remember this much deep representation from Western Canada on the World Junior team.
I don't. And as I look at that, and thanks to Clark for putting that together, and thank you, TSN, for producing it, some of my favorite teams and the teams that are in our area here in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, where we situate right in between Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Calgary. The Jets have their first rounder, Cole Perfetti. Peyton Krebs figures to be a Vegas Golden Knights very big part of their future. Caden Korczak is a Vegas Golden Knights prospect too. So the NHL teams are going to be watching this very, very, very closely.
Absolutely. And then when you look at some of the decisions that were made, right? You look at Alexis Lafreniere not being sent back or released and not playing. They want to get him into camp. You look at Quentin Byfield, in LA, they want him to play in a tournament like this, get the opportunity, and then go to camp. So some are okay. Some want them in pro camps. Chicago is pretty okay. You'd think you'd want Kirby Dach in camp and that he'd be a full-time NHLer, but they think this is another good opportunity for him to develop and, showcase his skills, the World Juniors.
Let's have a look at the schedule, if you don't mind, Producer Clark. Day 1 and Day 2. And again, we're not talking as much about the pre-tournament games, which will be going on inside the bubble. As a matter of fact, some have already happened. But Christmas Day gets going with the USA up against Russia, Finland against Germany. I'm kind of going at it backwards here. Slovakia versus Switzerland. Can I just ask you this? There will be some indignant and up in arms about the fact that they're playing on Christmas Day. Do you have a problem with that?
I love it. I think it's great. And 12 o'clock on Christmas Day, I think is perfect. You get up and, and you look at everybody's traditions are a little different, but we'll have to get up and you have stockings and maybe a couple of gifts and things. And then you maybe do brunch and the game's on. Get your brunch ready and Christmas brunch and the game's on at noon. So I'm really looking forward to that, a full day of hockey and then kind of the warm up before Boxing Day and getting to see Team Canada.
Yeah, let's talk about that Boxing Day schedule. 12 p.m. Mountain Time. That's local for the Alberta people. Sweden versus the Czechs will be a great lid lifter for both teams. Canada versus Germany. That is coming up at what?
4 o'clock.
Yeah,
Mountain.
Okay, my international time's screwing me
4
up
o'clock
here.
Mountain.
5 in here in the sweatpants capital.
5 o'clock here, 6 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah,
so
and USA versus Austria. Now, this is the preview show of the tournament. I mean, Canada is going to whitewash Germany, correct? They should. And it's always kind of the, I go back to the longest yard, right? You need a tune-up game, right? Against Appalachian State or some Slack Division 2 team, right? And that's usually what you get on Boxing Day for Canada. It is, yeah.
Except for the last couple of years when they ended up with the States to open it up and Finland. But that's what you want. You want Germany off the hop. They're better. They're not, I wouldn't say they're the basement dwellers of the pool, but it'll be a good one for Canada.
Nice work, Clark, switching the boards there. So Canada, there is their schedule. Germany, Slovakia, Switzerland, Finland. Now explain this to me, please, because this is the one thing that I don't understand. It's not like these pools are willy-nilly. This is all based on last year's standings in the Czech Republic?
Yeah.
So Canada finished on top. Does that mean they got a softer pool?
Yes. So the way I understand it is you start crisscrossing. So who finished first is in Pool A. Finished second goes to Pool B. And then third goes to Pool B. And fourth, kind of a snake, fourth and fifth, sixth and seventh, and eighth. So Canada would get number 1, 4, 7, and 8, I believe, from last year's seeds. So that's how it works. They try and even it up based on last year's results. So when you have upsets and you have favorites that get knocked out early, that's when you get these offset pools that seem kind of unbalanced, right? But it's because Canada finished first, and then you look at the other side, Russia, right? And then you look at what Germany, what Finland did, right? Finishing ahead of some of these other teams. That's why they end up in Canada's pool.
Right, so you don't hear much belly aching, or at least I haven't, about who's in what pool. Mind you, we haven't heard from the Americans or Swedes, and maybe that's what we'll do next, as we will hear from Julie Robenhymer from EliteProspects.com, USA hockey reporter. She'll give us all we need to know on the American team heading into the World Jays. You're watching our World Junior special here on the RP Show, and we'll be right back. It's on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
An original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Introducing Original 16 Canadian Ultra Lager. Just 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise.
Look like the pros. Shop Ultimate Fan Zone. NHL, NFL, MLB, CFL, NBA, and more. We have something for every sports fan. Autographed jerseys, prints, jersey stitching, custom framing, and collectibles. UFZ is your one-stop sports store offering fans official team gear. Check out Saskatchewan's Man Cave Corner on River and Main, downtown Moose Jaw, or visit us online at ultimatefanzone.ca. Built by fans for the fans.
It's year-end clearance at Capital GMC. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out capitalgmc.ca.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy holidays, and welcome back to our World Juniors 2021 preview in 2020. Darren Moose DuPont with us here, and we will be talking a lot of Canada, as you know, throughout our World Juniors preview. That is where we reside. But our neighbors are the Americans, and there are those that feel they might be a tournament favorite going into the Edmonton bubble for the tournament just after Christmas. Joining us to talk about it, this is a pre-recorded interview, by the way. This is not live, Darren. I'm not going to try and fake them out here. Julie Robenhymer, who I got to know at the World Juniors in 2012 in Edmonton. She's still on the beat, covering USA hockey for EliteProspects.com. She joined us from New Jersey to tee up the tourney. How you doing, Julie?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Oh, we're good. We're good. We lost you for a second, but we got you now. Hey, you know... Okay. You've been around this tournament a long time. You know how Canada feels going into it, that they're always the favorites. But we were just going over the American roster here. They might actually be the favorite. You know, what's your preview of this tournament going in from an American perspective?
Well, yes, I think the United States has a really good team, but I think if you're looking for a favorite, I think I'm going with Russia.
Fair enough. TSN's Greg Button has predicted a Canada-Russia final, by the way, so I get that. But I've been reading up on the American team. John Van Beesbroek is the general manager, and it seems like it hasn't been the easiest road even to get here from the health and safety, the protocol standpoint. Julie, I mean, you're covering them. What's this road to the World Juniors been like for Team USA?
Well, it was actually pretty smooth sailing heading into... I'd say maybe 10 days ago, there was a positive test at BU. And unfortunately, that meant that the BU players that were supposed to come, there were 3 that were supposed to attend selection camp, were not able to attend because of exposure. But it was a false positive, and there's no room in the protocols for any kind of false positive. And that's the same thing that happened at the end of their camp. Thomas Bordeleau, John Beecher, a false positive eliminated them from the tournament as well. So it's the challenge with these rapid testings. If you're negative, you're negative. But if you're positive, you are supposed to have another test of a different kind that will tell you whether you are actually positive or if it was a false positive. And in both cases, they were false positives. And it's unfortunate for these players. And it's unfortunate for Team USA that they aren't going to have the best players available to them, because all of the players that were tested as positive are not. So that's the tough part for Team USA. The good news is that with the depth that the United States has, they are easily able to recover from that. And that's what they're trying to do moving forward with their roster. Losing Bordeleau and Beecher was really difficult because they were their second and third line centers. So they have to, on the fly, quickly replace them. They only had one practice before they came to Edmonton to kind of sort that out. And now they've got 4 days of, we'll call it recovery, active recovery, not exactly rest, before they can get back on the ice again and really fine tune those lines.
Sounds not totally dissimilar with what Canada was through. They had a few players test positive, as you know, in Red Deer at the tournament, and then they made their cuts and they move on. There's one player that I'm particularly interested in on the American roster, and his name is Dustin Wolf, goalie from the Everett Silvertips, Flames prospect. He's been on this show, and I'm particularly fond of him. I have a fondness for goalies. Do you know what the expectation is for Dustin at this tournament in terms of sharing the crease or what kind of role he'll be expected to perform for the Americans?
Well, the good news is that this goalie tandem for the United States, I think, is the strongest in the tournament. I think Yaroslav Askarov is the strongest goalie, but as potential 1-2 punch, if necessary, the United States, in my opinion, has it on lockdown between Spencer Knight, who's arguably the best American college goalie, and Dustin Wolf, who was CHL Goalie of the Year last year. So obviously great options between the pipes. The challenge for Dustin is that he has not been playing, whereas Spencer has been playing for Boston College and has been playing exceptionally well, like even better than our standard for Spencer Knight is. So as far as Dustin, in terms of earning playing time, I think he needs to earn it and have an opportunity, a window of opportunity open up for him, because I think Spencer Knight has this net. But I know in talking to the coaches that they're still very excited with what Dustin brings. And if he needs to be called upon, they know that he'll be able to step right in and get the job done.
Great answer. Thank you for the insight, by the way. And, you know, the last time the World Juniors were in Edmonton, I was calling the games for Canada. I recall meeting you there. Are you in Edmonton? Will you be going to Edmonton, or because of the bubble, you'll be forced to watch on television?
Yeah, most media will be forced to watch on television. In fact, they are only allowing Canadians, residents of Canada, to be at the World Junior Tournament on site. And furthermore than that, they are only allowing 30 photographers and media to be present in the building. So that pretty much limits it to rights holders and maybe immediate local Edmonton media. But very, very tight this year. But at the same time, it's much like the NHL bubble. Access doesn't really give you anything other than to be in the room where it happens. And all of the media availability and the press conferences and the interviews will be done either phone or video conference.
Julie, our program airs on cable TV in Philadelphia on Game Plus TV. We got a lot of Flyers fans that watch, and Todd writes in, says, Bobby Brink and Cam York, top Flyers prospects with Team USA. Can you speak about those players?
Sure. Cam York is going to be the backbone of their blue line. It just in seeing how he's been playing for Michigan so far this year, he's just really grown. I mean, physically grown, gotten bigger and gotten stronger, which only makes him an even better player. But mentally, and his clarity and his approach to the game and how he wants to be a leader and impact the game in more ways than one, in just having the puck on his stick. So he's become a more well-rounded player and will have a big impact on Team USA's blue line. He'll be driving the play on the power play as well, and I'm sure be getting some PK minutes. So he'll be a big, important part for Team USA. In terms of Bobby Brink, he is another guy who's big and skilled and has a lot to offer. He's in the mix for the bottom six on this team. They're pretty stacked in the top six, but there's a lot of fluidity in kind of how that bottom six is going to play out. They have a lot of guys, I think 9 guys that they're considering in that mix with the extra players that they have. So he's going to be a big role in that, and I anticipate he will be a big part in the penalty kill as well.
Thanks, Julie. And by the way, the fans have just come alive with specific questions here. I'm going to throw a few at you. Obviously, you can handle it. Yeah. Pat in Saskatoon says, is Montreal prospect Cole Caulfield going to be the best player in this tournament because he's played games already?
I don't know that he'll be the best player in this tournament, but he'll be in the mix. I think that he himself has a lot of expectations. I know he was very disappointed in his personal performance last year, and especially in the way that things ended for Team USA, losing by a 1-0 score to a team they absolutely dominated, but an unfortunate power play goal. Well, fortunate for Finland, unfortunate for the United States, kicked the U.S. out of the tournament. Cole carried a lot of that burden, thinking that he could have done more offensively and could have produced more offensively. So I feel that that's going to be like a burning desire for him. The challenge is going to be maintaining that, in balancing, trying not to do too much to put yourself in bad spots. So that will be Cole's challenge. But he's played so well for Wisconsin this year. In the beginning of the year, he was getting a lot of assists and goals weren't going in, and then the floodgates opened. So I know the powers that be at Team USA are hoping that the floodgates stay open throughout this tournament.
Colin in Ottawa says, all Sens fans want to know if Jake Sanderson will be the best defenseman in the tournament.
I'm going to put out a disclaimer that I am a huge Jake Sanderson fan. I have been singing his praises since last November when I saw him at the Five Nations Cup in Sundsvall, Sweden. And I just feel like he is so well-rounded and is such a strong defender, and in such a way that you really don't notice him. He is so stealthy, and a lot of that is due to his skating, but he's so smart. He makes great first passes. He is just an all-around great defenseman. He's got size. He's not afraid to use it. There is just so much to like about Jake Sanderson's game. And I think that this tournament will be a big coming out party for him. I think it would have been at the U18s had that tournament happened. Better late than never.
Last one I think I have for you, Julie, is with the absence of the NHL at the moment, do you expect there'll be more interest in America with games on NHL Network because there's no NHL being played at this time?
Well, the games have been on NHL Network for the past several years, I think since 2014. So it is an annual tradition. I know Canadians think it's for them. It is. Even the success of the tournament in the European countries is very well documented. And for American fans, I think it's more just an opportunity to have eyeballs. There's obviously a lot of competition normally for our eyeballs with other sports, particularly the NBA and football, and then college football in the bowl season. So there's just a lot going on in the United States that is pulling attention away. So I don't think it's necessarily just with the NHL not being around right now, but all of the other sporting activities that detract eyeballs from an event like this. So I'm excited to see what happens. But of course, it's only as good as the teams on the ice and giving us a good show and giving us something that we want to watch.
Well, I expect it will be like the Stanley Cup playoffs where the hockey was excellent. I think the hockey will be excellent here. Remains to be seen what that atmosphere is like. Of course, you've been there. I've been there. It's a lot of fun. But, Julie, I appreciate your knowledge as always. It's great seeing you again. Enjoy the tournament, and maybe we can bring you on in the middle of it or after for a wrap, something like that. But stay safe and Merry Christmas, and I appreciate the time.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you very much, USA Hockey reporter Julie Robenhymer. And although I did meet her 8 years ago, Darren, I have to defer to you. You actually were the one that set up the interview, if I'm not mistaken. Usually that's the Hound Dog's job, producer Clark. But she's very followable on social media. She's very active on there, and that's kind of how you came across her.
Absolutely, and it's based on her coverage, right? A coverage of USA Hockey, both the World Championships, Olympics, that area, but also the World Juniors. Just wall-to-wall coverage, loves to travel, so see a lot of that. And then, her coverage of that area of the NHL, right around New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and that area of the United States. But, it was really good conversation because that American team is going to be a good hockey team. You can tell. And that goaltending situation, with Dustin Wolf, potentially the backup, the CHL goaltender of the year, the Americans are going to be good.
Well, to our American viewers, and 1/3 of our viewers do reside in the United States of America, you can watch all of Team USA's games on NHL Network. We'll take a timeout. Our World Juniors 2021 preview continues after this. You are watching on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Hockey Harvest Lottery, presented by Great Western Brewing Company. Get your tickets now. The early bird deadline is November 27th, and the final draw held on December 21st. Find tickets on each WHL team's website and WHL.ca. Daily jackpot updates and Hockey Harvest Lottery news available daily on Twitter at Hockey Harvest. Rules and regulations can be found online at WHL.ca/Hockey Harvest Lotto. License number LR200045.
It's year-end clearance at Capital Ford Lincoln. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait, do it right now.
Welcome back to our 2021 World Juniors special, everybody. And talking to Mitch Love on today's show, assistant coach. And now we're talking to the goaltenders coach for Hockey Canada, and also recently announced the Calgary Flames. He's no stranger to this program. Jason Labarabera joins us from the Edmonton bubble. And Coach Labarabera, before I get into all those topics I just said and your new title with the Flames, I'll say Merry Christmas. Thanks for the time. And how are you feeling these days after over a month locked away with Hockey Canada?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It's been pretty unique, obviously. There's some unique circumstances, for everybody, but obviously just for us in general, being in the hotel rooms for as long as we have been and trying to navigate through that whole process. But, the light's at the end of the tunnel. We have a few more days here, and I think everyone's, once we got up to Edmonton on Sunday, you could kind of feel like everyone was starting to get a little bit more excited. And I think once we get out of here and get back on the ice and start seeing the other countries on the ice and in practices and stuff and actually get to play a real hockey game against another country, I think the guys are just itching to get after it.
You've been with Hockey Canada long enough that you know the glare that's on this program. And when they made the announcement of the final cuts and Brochu was on it in terms of this goaltender position, there was a lot of questions already on how you settled on the final three. Does that surprise you at all that there was as much attention, and also how difficult was it to make that final cut in goal?
No, there's always a spotlight on the Canadian goalie situations for the World Juniors. It's always been that way. This year, obviously, again, it was unique, and the guys haven't been playing hockey, and we had 5 talented guys that were in. It was not an easy decision. You have to take a lot of things into effect again because they haven't been playing. So there's body of work and past history, those sorts of aspects to the decisions that get made. And you make a decision that you feel is right, and you hope hopefully it works out. I mean, the guys that we had to let go, they were great kids. They worked their butts off. They did everything you possibly could ask. But at the end of the day, you have to make those decisions, and then that's where we went with it.
Could I ask you, without the benefit of games to evaluate them, what made your decisions?
Again, just body of work was a big part of it. Past history, whether they've come through the program, what they did last year on their club teams, and then a little bit of obviously what they've done, in camp at the start. So, it's always a fine balance in the sense of, you're trying to evaluate them in practice, and some guys are better in practice than others, and some guys are just, they're more considered gamers per se. So you put them in a game situation and they perform better maybe than they would in practice, especially at this age and this stage of their career. So again, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but we're happy with the three guys that we have, and we're looking forward for them to getting out there and proving to us and to everybody what they're capable of.
So those three are Devin Levi, Junior A goalie, came out of Junior A and is at Northeastern. Taylor Gauthier of the Prince George Cougars, Calgary kid, who listed Justin Pogge as his mentor growing up. You probably saw that on SportsCenter. And Dylan Garand of the Kamloops Blazers, who's a Victoria kid. So as we sit here today, do you know who starts Boxing Day against Germany, or is that still to be determined?
Yeah, that's still to be determined, obviously. We need to let the process play itself out. And once, again, we started to get ourselves going last week, and then we got shut down and having to come back into hotel isolation. So we'll get back on the ice this weekend. We'll have 3 practices, and then we'll have the Swedes, I think, on the Monday, and that will continue the process of figuring out which guy's going to have the ball and go with it. So, I think it's important for all 3 guys to push each other and to push themselves and make the decision hard on us.
Seems like they really get along. I saw the 3-way call on TSN with Mark Masters. Is that the case? Can you speak to their relationship, the 3 of them?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny when you do these things, like, each guy's got their own different personalities. They all are unique in their own way. They're all different kinds of goalies. But, now that we've got the 3 of them, they've kind of dug in with each other. And, in Red Deer, the last, for the week, they had their own dressing room to themselves. So they got to know each other a little bit, sort of some of their tendencies, how they like to get ready for games or practices and those sorts of things. So you start to build those relationships, and it's important, right? Because you got to have each other's back as much as it's a competition for who is going to play and who's not. You still got to support each other and trust each other and have everyone's best interest at heart, because again, we're all in this together and we're all trying to achieve the same goal, and that's to win gold medal.
By the way, when I mentioned Justin Pogge was Taylor Gauthier's hero, both Devin Levi and Dylan Garand, theirs was Carey Price, a tremendous Team Canada goalie, as you know. And I think I told you, Barbs, that I was a goalie. That's why I'm grilling you with these questions, because I'm particularly interested in the position. And by the way, so the guy Gauthier 6'2", Garand 6'1", Levi 6'0", and that's a far cry from the skyscrapers that are in NHL creases right now. Maybe these guys have some inches to grow before they're all done. But are their styles somewhat similar? Were you looking for a Hockey Canada style, or are they all different?
No, they're all different. They're, like I said, they're all unique in their own way. Levi, his feet and his quickness, his edge work and his skating ability. He, like you said earlier, he played Junior A last year, and you wonder how he would handle the pace and handle the level of play, and his skating ability and the way he's able to get to spots and hold his edges is elite, and it's allowed him to stay at this pace and be really, really good. He's been good the whole way through. Dylan Garand, same idea. He's got good feet. The one thing about him is I've really noticed is he's got really good hands. He's not the biggest guy per se, but he can get away with it with how good his hands are. And Taylor's just a gamer. He's got the most experience in the program. He's come through the U17s, the Helenka Gretzky, the U18s, and now here. He's the oldest guy of the group, and he's that guy that you put into a game and he'll perform. And he had a great year in Prince George last year, on a weaker team. And so again, you go back to their whole bodies of work, and then again their talents and stuff that you see on the ice, some of the video that you've seen in the past on them, and all three guys are pushing each other pretty well, and it's been a pretty good. Before we got shut down again, it was a pretty good week.
Refresh my memory. Is there a trapezoid in international play?
No.
Okay. Okay, so the rule makers on this continent have really shut down goalies, because in the terminology of hockey now, you would have called him a puck-moving goalie, whatever you would have called Martin Brodeur and Ron Hextall and those kind of guys. Where are you on that? Because you can't play the puck anymore. That just doesn't happen anymore. I mean, you're old enough to remember those guys. So is puck handling out of the crease a priority for you with your guys?
Oh, for sure. Because, if your goalie touches the puck and you're able to have clean breakouts with your D and be on the same page, the less time you spend in your end, obviously the better, and if your neutral zone is good and it makes the other teams have to dump pucks in, and your goalies get out and move the puck to your D, again, like, you want it to be as clean as possible. And so the less time you spend in your end, and the better. And the guys are pretty solid at it. Like, there's no Mike Smiths, obviously, that's elite, but they're good at getting out and stopping the puck, making a quick pass to the D, and then letting the D do their thing. So it's something that you work at. It's important, obviously, for your D and your goalies to get on the same page, to have the same communication, and just get on the same plan. And we've tried to work on that a little bit, in the week leading up to the first quarantine. And so hopefully, we can dig into it a little bit more. But so far, it's been good.
Who is the best puck-moving goalie of the three? Is it Devin Levi?
From what I've seen, I think Devin's probably the most aggressive and has the most confidence with it. Again, his skating ability allows him to get out and get to a lot of things. I think they're all solid in their own ways. I think you don't want guys to be too aggressive in the sense where they're gonna, push the limit a little bit and maybe make a mistake. You want them to get out, make their play, get back in the net, and again, like I said, let the D do the work. So that's a big part of it, and just making good decisions, being aware of the forechecks. Obviously, that's part of the pre-scout is showing them what the other team's forecheck's like, whether it's 1-2-2, 2-1-2, whether they take the strong side wall away, whatever that is. Just to give them some info as far as when they do get out and play it.
Speaking of pre-scouts, producer Clark wants to know, Canada aside, who's got the best goaltending in this tournament that you've designated?
Yeah, it's a pretty talented group for the tournament. Obviously, you look at the U.S. and they've got Spencer Knight and Dustin Wolf. Knight's a first-round pick, and Wolf, is a Flames pick, obviously, and led the CHL last year in stats. The Swedes have Hugo Allenfelt, who was real good in the tournament last year as an 18-year-old coming back as a third-round pick in Tampa. Jesper Wallstad's the other guy who's highly ranked for the draft this year. And obviously the Russians have, Askarov, who was a first-round pick this year. So lots of talented guys. The Finns have Blomqvist, who's a second-round pick in Pittsburgh this year's draft. It's his first time in the tournament. So lots of talented guys. Our guys stack up well against all of them. And again, you can't wait to get on the ice with these guys and just see the other countries and not have to play against, yourselves anymore.
And lastly, you spent a long time in the NHL as a goalie, and you're going back as the goalie coach of the Calgary Flames. Congratulations, by the way. And, Dustin Wolf, you'll be working with him. And speaking of Swedes, you'll be working with Jacob Markstrom, the number one free agent goalie that was available, and the Flames got him. So how excited are you for that opportunity?
Yeah, very excited, obviously, and grateful. I live in Calgary. So for me to be able to move down the hallway is a great opportunity for myself and my family. And, like we were talking about earlier before we got on here, when you're a coach, if you want to progress and move up, usually that means you have to move. So the fact that I don't have to worry about moving for at least 3 more years is super exciting. And, I've developed a good relationship with Jordan Siglett over the last couple of years. And obviously Brad Treliving, who was in Phoenix when I played there, was the assistant GM, and Don Maloney and those guys. So, it's obviously just fortunate and lucky and just super excited to get going with those guys and continue to improve myself as a coach and then try to help those guys get to another level.
Well, you might make me a Flames fan, but we'll worry about that when the World Juniors are over. Thank you, Jason, for the time, and good luck. We're following very closely, and Merry Christmas, my friend.
Thanks. Merry Christmas to you guys, too, and look forward to it.
Jason Labarabera, goaltenders coach of Hockey Canada and the Under-20 team. It's our World Juniors preview special. Also on the program today, Mitch Love and Rich Sutter. We'll be right back. You are watching on Game Plus Television, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Hey, it's Warren Dean. I understand more than anyone how changing weather affects your day, and that's no different for your vehicle. That's why I look to the experts at Suds Full Service Car Wash. They have a wide range of exterior washes, including Lava Shield with Towel Dry. Looking good, Natalie and Kirby. And don't forget their famous Suds Ultimate. Thoroughly cleans the interior of your car. Open Monday to Saturday. No appointment necessary. Head to Suds Full Service Car Wash today, where they treat you like family.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Updating and improving your air conditioning system does not need to be difficult. You can breathe easy with our 100% satisfaction guarantee, flexible financing options, and maintenance programs. We will be with you throughout the process from start to finish. Contact us today so we can help you breathe a little easier. 306-781-2090.
Welcome back, everybody. It is our World Juniors special, and it's the viewer takeover segment. We could actually right now face off if we wanted to. I'm not advocating for it, but if you want to, I have the liner here.
Let's do it.
For Ultimate Fan Zone and the Mad Greek. But just before I do, we're facing, you guys are quick on the trigger back there in the dog pound. But I just want to point something out because we've been talking a lot of hockey so far, and we will an hour or two again for these World Juniors. But I had a text from one of our viewers, Doug McKell. I think you've heard me talk about him before. He's a football coach, hockey coach too. I think he would tell you he's more a football guy. But anyways, he went over to the Ultimate Fan Zone. They had to find some Green Bay Packers stuff. Whoops. Hope I'm not letting it out of the bag for Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In that family. So Ultimate Fan Zone is your choice. They've got your NFL stuff. They got your NHL stuff, MLB, you name it. But let me ask you this, because my kids were asking me what I wanted for Christmas, and they said, you're very hard to buy for. And maybe you are too. I don't know, Darren.
Probably.
Did they tell you that?
Yeah, probably.
Because they know that I have everything that I want, and if there's something that I need, I'll just go buy it. But the one thing that I did say is, I need some more Canada gear. And you wouldn't think that it should be that hard to find, and to be honest, it's not that hard to find. I couldn't find this last year when I was looking for it, right. This team tracksuit. But I have handed a lot of my stuff to my brother, Canada stuff, so I've asked for more. Where would you go to get Team Canada stuff?
Man, I'd start Ultimate Fan Zone.
Maybe this is a face-off.
I'd have to start at the Ultimate Fan Zone, and then I'd probably go to Sport Check second, just because of their affiliation with Hockey Canada and the World Juniors. Right, they've got that sponsorship affiliation, and look at all the extra pub we're giving them on the show. But I think that's probably where I would go second. And maybe Canadian Tire third.
Oh, then I got one that you haven't even thought of.
Then. Yeah.
And I would say all of those things, obviously, but if you struck out at the Ultimate Fan Zone and you struck out at Sport Check and you struck out at Canadian Tire, the Bay has an absolute massive selection of Canada stuff. And I would suggest that's where my family's going to get mine. So you start at the Ultimate Fan Zone and then you go down from there. But now's the time of year that you would want it. For Team USA stuff, I don't think you're getting it anywhere.
I'm calling Julie. Can you FedEx me a package? That's probably what's happening.
By the way, I don't know if Clark's able to throw up the schedule for the World Junior. And if you can't, Clark, that's fine. We've already had it once already today in the warm-up. But there will be no Canada-USA New Year's Eve clash. And I'm glad that we're sorting out today. Thank you, sir. I'm glad that we're sorting out today why there's no Canada-USA clash, why they're not in the same pool. But there you go, as you look at the schedules of the games. There you go, Canada, Finland. Not that that's bad, but look, there's something about classic rivalries.
Yeah, and there's no, from my understanding, there's no decision-making to the schedule. It's all based on numbers. It's all based on standings. They predicted, right? We've already went through the pools, right? You go from one to the other. Well, your schedule, I understand, starts easy and gets progressively harder based on last year's results. So you would play on New Year's Eve the second best team in your pool, which often was Canada or the United States. They'd play each other. And then you had the weird year where, it was the Americans who, right, Canada played the States early on, or they played Finland early on in a tournament. That would have been because the Finns or Canada, the year Canada finished, lost out in the quarters there or whatever, then finished in 8th or 7th. You get that early game that seems to unbalance the schedule, but it's all based on results.
One thing we should get going into hour 2 when we go live to Game Plus TV is maybe ask what your favorite World Junior memories are from being in attendance. And you can write us on the Prairie Mobile text line 306-840-8777. Prairie Mobile is your authorized SaskTel mobility dealer. The number is on the screen. And Clark, you tell me. Yeah, thank you. I was just going to say, tell me how much time we got left. When we got some time here. I've gone through mine. I mean, obviously, being there, calling the games. But the crappy thing, if I may, when it was in Regina in 91, and you were just a tyke. Yeah. You weren't even in school yet. That was the Eric Lindros year. He set a record for points in 32, I believe. Mike Sillinger. And then when it came through Regina and Saskatoon, where do you think we were when I was the voice of the Pats?
Yeah.
On the road. So we're watching games in our barn from a team meal, which incidentally was very special, in Cranbrook. I think the place was called the Schnitzel Palace.
Schnitzel Palace. That sounds right.
Not easy to say.
No.
Say that 3 times fast. Maybe we'll drop that in the closed captioner's lap next hour. Schnitzel Palace. All of us watching Canada and the USA. Now, that was fun. And then other nights in Cranbrook at St. Eugene Mission, a lot of the longtime WHL viewers, staff, players that are watching will know that place. But I'll shut up. What were yours?
I haven't been to watch, right? I took in a game when it was around here, when it was in Saskatoon, Regina, a couple of games. That was fun. I wasn't covering it yet, when it came through. But for me, it's, again, I hate when it's in Canada. Because I love watching.
Even this year?
I love well, this year's extra special because we get to do this in the morning, right? I love when the games are on in the morning. That's for me. And for me, it was when it was in the Czech Republic a number of years ago, and Jay and Dan did the alarm clock, right? The app, you put your number in. They would call you with a recorded message at like 4 a.m. with this hilarious, wake up, time for Team Canada. And you'd get up, make your coffee, grab your pajamas, and watch the game at like the oddest hours. I love that.
I loved it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now I'm enjoying the primetime clashes. But there's the face-off.
Yeah.
What's the best time? He likes the 4 and 5 a.m. You barbarian.
I know.
For me, primetime on TSN, Canada's sports leader. Anyways, the face-off is brought to you by the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw. We were there last Saturday. It was amazing. Great job, Johnny Yatridis. Your choice for the best Greek authentic cuisine available for licensed dining, takeout, or delivery. Head to the madgreekeatery.com for more information. And for Ultimate Fan Zone, home of the home teams, jerseys, caps, and team apparel, they are your officially licensed fan store in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Built by fans for the sport sports fans in southern Saskatchewan. Don't go anywhere. We've got hour 2 of our World Juniors annual preview coming up after this break as we move to Game Plus TV. Or for the rest of you, just keep it rolling here on Facebook Live. I just want to say thanks to all of our guests on the program. We'll see you in hour 2 coming up on Game Plus.
This right here is time well spent. Why not pour yourself a smooth Saskatchewan-made Original 16? Warm up to the opportunity to seize the day.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
It's year-end clearance at Capital Ford Lincoln. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50K. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out CapitalFordLincoln.com.
He's covering everything that matters to you. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Tune in live Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to noon to catch the show live and be a part of the action. Take control by commenting live and sharing the show with your friends.
Introducing Original 16 Hard Seltzer. The refreshing taste of delicious peach with vodka made in Saskatchewan. New hard seltzers from Original 16.
It's the Rod Pedersen Show.
It's the college football of Canada. There will be a World Juniors. I think we're all excited that there will be a World Juniors. Maybe if you're locked up at home, you're going to have World Juniors to watch every day. They're going to play.
Now, it's Rod Pedersen.
Hey, thank you so much, Rick Regan. Happy holidays, everybody. And welcome to the RP Show. It is our World Juniors special. We're talking sports here. Rod Pedersen, you see it on the screen. And the Moose, Darren DuPont.
Howdy.
Is it really catching?
I don't know.
Are you getting a Moose tattoo?
I might.
I'm liking it.
I can see the logos and everything, yeah.
We're smiling because we're talking hockey. And I'm smiling because, as you heard in the intro, nicely done, by the way, that was one of the predictions that I was very confident in. I make several, as you've noticed.
Yeah.
And I'm not 100%. I had mentioned last week I was around 80%. I think I'm actually about 90%.
Oh, no, yeah, for sure.
At least 90%
At least.
on my predictions, and that's pretty good. Not when it comes to scoring or betting, of course, but I was pretty confident there would be a World Juniors tournament, and here we are days away from the start of it all. And by the way, it is episode number 387 here of Canada's daytime sports talk show, coming to you across North America on Game Plus TV. And apologies to our American viewers. That is a sorry, not sorry thing. We're very pro-Canada here in the bunker, and we've been through so far talking with Jason Labarabera on our preview here because this is hour 2. He is the goaltenders coach for Team Canada and also the Calgary Hitmen. Played 12 years in the NHL, including with the New York Rangers and Phoenix Coyotes at the time. We also went to New Jersey and heard from Julie Robenhymer from USA's... EliteProspects.com. Julie's been writing for years, covering USA hockey. This hour, our crew here has affectionately dubbed it the Mitch and Rich Show. We'll be joined by Mitch Love, assistant coach of Hockey Canada, also the head coach of the Saskatoon Blades, and our longtime good buddy, Rich Sutter, who will be joining us from Lethbridge, who watches this show every day, by the way, on TELUS Optic Cable. You know that.
I do.
On Game Plus TV. So hello to all of the Sutters. Thank you, Richie, for helping us out today, and he's coming up in moments. So anyways, through all of that preamble, Darren, we're just kind of resetting here a little bit. There's no quick 6 show topics today from what we normally do because it's all about the World Juniors. And may I ask you why you think, because I know you'll agree that this is the highest, most hotly anticipated World Juniors in a very long time, probably over a decade. Why do you think that is?
Because we've been without for a while, and I think this is the one kind of anchor of the holidays that we all look forward to, that we're going to get. Right now, whether you're here in Saskatchewan, Alberta, our friends in Ontario at Game Plus have told us all about, we've talked to them, regularly about the lockdowns happening there in different areas of the country and all over the world, really. Well, when the World Juniors comes on and you get to flip that on and your Christmas tree's up in your house, it won't matter if you've traveled home. It won't matter if you're with grandma and grandpa or if you're with your brother and sister. It'll still feel like Christmas. And I think that'll make us all feel good, no matter what happens on the ice.
Right, but I have a sense that you are one of those guys that you're geeked up every year.
Of course. Of course. I mean, it's always something I look forward to for sure. Absolutely.
Well, for me, I can say why I'm more excited than most years, and that is because I'm usually have been on the football trail, and I don't get a day off until Christmas, and I'm not usually watching hockey. I hadn't been, right? I was easing into it last year, but I didn't watch the whole tournament. I dang sure watched the gold medal final and thought Canada was going to lose when they were down 3-1 in the third period to Russia. Mm-hmm. And while we don't have Craig Button on our World Juniors preview because we had him on last week, everybody knows TSN's Craig Button. He's predicted a Canada-Russia gold medal final, and that could very easily happen. The Americans would have something to say about that because they're in a pool with Russia, and they think they're going to win that pool and go head-to-head against Canada in the playoffs. But it's fun to talk about, and there you go. There's your pools. Good work, producer Clark, pulling those up. That just kind of shows you what Canada is facing to get out of their pool. It doesn't look that difficult to me. Not compared to what the Americans and the Russians and the Swedes and the Austrians have.
No, but the Finns will pose their own challenge, that's for sure. But what that tells you, though, is you look at the other side, and you got 4 teams in there, right? You look at the Czech Republic, the United States, Sweden, and Russia. Canada's going to get one of them in the quarterfinal, right? So you look at ways where it might end early for Canada, and not that I want to look at roadblocks where they might not get to the medal round or into the semifinals to get to the medal round. The quarterfinals against one of the big 4 in that other pool, that poses a bit of a problem. So they got to do their best to make sure they get through clean, finish first in their pool, and try and leave themselves with the best matchup possible.
But do you think that the Canada-Russia final, if it happens, if Craig Button's prediction comes to 4, will really capture this country? I mean, that's a little bit of a rhetorical question because what else are they going to be watching, right, on television? But I can't really imagine. I dare to dream. I'm almost afraid to shoot for that.
Well, I want to see a little trash talk from the other side, from the Russian side, because I mean, they're sitting there having been up 3-1 and the camera gate, right?
Yeah.
Puck off the lens of the camera and it stays in and all of that. And they feel that they got screwed a little bit last year out of a gold medal. So they'll be looking for revenge for sure.
I wonder if they have talked about that because from what I've seen, they have not yet. But by the way, we've known hockey for a real long time. And I can tell you that we should do a Christmas drinking game for people at home. Every time Rod mentions that he was the voice of Team Canada on Sportsnet Radio Network.
Yes.
Take a shot. You'll all be liquored up by Christmas Eve and need to get a ride. But anyways, I learned that international rules are different than normal Canadian rules, or North American rules, if you will. But I think that we all know that if the puck hits anything connected to the boards, it's still live.
We know that now. But, the netting's connected. There's things like that, but you're right. But we all think we know what, the way...
Did you not think they made the right call?
Well, looking back on it, I do.
Yeah.
I do think they made the right call, but then how does that change? There's so many ways to interpret it. I think if I was a Russian, I'd probably think they made the wrong call, right? So we look at it, we interpret it, based on what we know, and... hey, it worked out for Canada, and it was a really great moment.
It's unfortunate that Sammy Cosentino, by the way, was unable to join us for our World Juniors preview, but I'll sprinkle a few of my stories from that tournament there, and here's why. I'm a little different now than I was back in 2012. I went into that tournament just rocking and rolling, cocky, didn't think rules? What about who cares about the rules?
Right.
First game, it's Canada versus Finland. We're calling it on Boxing Day. Referee blows his whistle and goes like this. I lean over at Sammy. What the hell is that? It was like icing or something.
I'm like,
have you ever seen that call?
Well, that's the penalty shot call, isn't it? That's what I thought.
The penalty shot call.
Well, they usually point there, but it used to be this. And so that was like you would throw a guy off. But here's how I would compare that in Saskatchewan anyways, or Canada, would compare it to Canadians getting watching the lacrosse games. Because we watch lacrosse games and we apply hockey rules. That's slashing. That's high stick.
But it's legal.
But it's all legal, right? The same way that Americans kind of watch hockey, right? Interpreting it based on, what they're familiar with. So it's so interesting to watch that.
My illustration, my reason for that is they do have different signals, and maybe they did have a different rule for if the puck went off the camera. Let's put it this way. In North America, play on.
Yeah.
That's not stopping a game, right?
That's right. Now, because it's attached to the glass, but if a fan's up there...
That's what I'm saying.
But if a fan put their own little phone up their camera to get a good shot and it hits that, I think it'd be whistle dead, just like if it would hit a glove on the benches or something like that. But... hey, that's what the referees get paid to do. They go through all the training. I'm sure they weren't exactly prepared for this. I'm sure they huddled up and said, have you guys ever seen this in any of our seminars that we've been to? Look at the rules, but they got it right. And that's the most important thing.
But you said the key thing, and I know that we're singing from the same hymn book here, but if it's attached to the boards, it's part of the boards, i.e. play on.
Right.
That's it's different than a player's glove or a fan catching the puck or something. You're blowing the play dead. So that's exciting. But one thing that we have not discussed in our World Juniors preview here, and Clark, please tell me when we got to run, but from an officiating standpoint, there are 3 Saskatchewan officials, referees. I'm sure that they have designated roles now. They do all those roles at home here. Tarrenton Wyonzik is one. You would know him from his WHL years, and he's a gym buddy of mine. The camera incident was kind of taken out of the referee's hands vis-a-vis they were not Russian refs and they were not Canadian refs.
That's good.
You have neutral refs at a normal World Juniors, but you do not at this year's World Juniors. They're all Canadian officials. How much do you think that'll weigh in?
It'll weigh in if there's a controversy for sure.
Oh, great. Well, there's going to be.
There's going to be, and whether you're Russian, Swedish, Slovakian, American, Finnish, you name it. If you can point and Canada gets a break, of course you'll try and get that to your advantage, right? And that's the mind games that the coaches will play. That's just one of the nuances that'll be fun to watch and follow through this year's event.
Well, this has been fun. This is the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. Georgie invites you down to the Four Seasons to warm up. Saskatchewan's original sports bar and your home for the National Football League, and I might add the World Juniors as well. Coming up, we're going to hear from the goaltenders coach of Hockey Canada. No, sorry, it's Mitch Love. We had Jason last hour in that segment. Yeah, Mitch Love coming up, the head coach of the assistant coach of Hockey Canada, and our World Juniors insider, Rich Sutter from Lethbridge. That's all ahead. You're watching our World Juniors preview on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
There's something for everyone at the Mad Greek Eatery. Delicious Greek dishes, pizza, lasagna, pastas, soups, salads, and much more. The Mad Greek Eatery brings the best authentic Greek cuisine right to you. Available for licensed dining, events, delivery, and takeout. For the best taste and huge portions, there is only one place. Visit the Mad Greek Eatery, downtown Moose Jaw. Call for takeout and delivery today.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Building a deeper connection with our fans by putting them in the show. It's a new era of sports talk. The Rod Pedersen Show airs from 10 to noon, Monday to Friday on Facebook Live. Join the conversation today and tune in. Online, on your phone, at home, at work. Follow us on Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. And subscribe on YouTube for all the content you want to watch. Don't wait, do it right now.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Welcome back, everybody. It is our World Juniors 2021 special, although we are in 2020, and we're pleased to be joined by Hockey Canada under-18 assistant coach Mitch Love from the Edmonton Bubble, and you also know him as the head coach of the Saskatoon Blades. And Mitch, I appreciate the time here today as we talk World Juniors, although I know we never get enough talking hockey. I'll simply ask you this. How's life right now in Edmonton after making the shift up from Red Deer?
Yeah, it's good, Rod. Well, thanks for having me on today. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer here to kicking this tournament off. We're currently in day 3 of our 4-day mandated double IHF quarantine. We're spending a little bit of time with players on Zoom, making sure that the brains are being stimulated for when we get out of here and hit the ice for our first team skate on Friday in Edmonton.
I know as a coach, you're either thinking about today or ahead, but I just want to go back to Red Deer for a second. We all kind of wondered why the camp was so long compared to normal, and then we've realized why. You had a couple of COVID tests, you quarantined, and everything worked out that way. How would you explain the Red Deer experience both on the ice and off?
Well, it was an experience, to say the least. I think in terms of what we faced with the 2-week quarantine and having to shut things down because of some positive cases, so be's the life that we live right now with this pandemic. So, we knew that there was going to be some adversity at some point for our players and staff through this event. I mean, we dealt with a lot of it last year, non-COVID related, but this is just a test for our guys. They've been outstanding professionals this whole time in terms of, going through workouts on Zoom, going through video sessions on Zoom, keeping their minds on even just being teenagers too. I know a lot of guys are gaming and spending time with each other, team building through that. But it's this stuff was this was stuff that we needed to probably go through to become more of a team. And everybody's healthy and safe right now, and we're excited to get this thing going on Friday.
Just one non-hockey question. My good friend is Kelly Taylor, and I understand that he entertained your guys, the stand-up comic from PA. How did that go over?
He was outstanding. I thought, we did a really good job of trying to bring on some special guests from across our country. We had the Arkells lead singer, Max Kerman, on. We had a couple Canadian Olympic soccer players. Kelly was on. It kept the guys and it kept things loose for our guys in a trying time. And Kelly, he's a funny man. I won't hold it against him that he's a Prince Albert Raider fan, but he had our guys chuckling, and we're actually going to use him with a Saskatoon Blade Zoom call coming up here shortly.
Oh, sweet. Well, born and raised PA, he can be forgiven. But when you guys win it all, I hope he gets a medal or a ring or something. But anyways, finally to the questions as we move forward. You did find out during camp that Alexis Lafreniere wasn't going to be there. And Alan Miller told me in his office about 5 weeks ago that he was kind of thinking that he might be part of the team. So when you got that news, how was it received by your group?
Well, it's one of those situations where it was an uncontrollable for us. We presented our case in terms of wanting Alexi here with us and knowing how good of a hockey player he is and how important he was to our team last year. But at the same time, between him and his camp and the New York Rangers, they felt best that he prepares for his first season in the NHL, and we respect that. And the group we have here, we're confident with. We've got a lot of depth on our roster. Guys are excited to get going. It's been a long time since these kids have played any sort of competitive hockey. So, this is what we got. We'll work with it and go from there.
I want to spend more time on who is there rather than who isn't. But I did see an interview with Shane Wright, the exceptional player, and like any guy that's released from Hockey Canada's camp, he said, it sucks. He seems like a mature kid. He obviously has got the skills. That must have been a tough decision to have him in that last group of cuts.
Yeah, this isn't easy for these young men. I mean, that knock on the door or that call from management to tell you you're going home, that's never easy. And he's a tremendous hockey player. I mean, we've seen what he's done as an exceptional player in the CHL. His maturity is off the charts for a young kid. It was hard, but it's something that, he'll be a part of the program. I'm sure it's something that he'll learn from, in future events, and he has a bright future with Hockey Canada. There's no doubt.
Oh, yeah, we'll be hearing that name a lot, for sure. So to the players that are there, hard not to notice a distinct WHL flair to Hockey Canada's roster. The most, if I may, we've seen in years. Just by name, Connor Zary, Dylan Guerin from Kamloops, Caden Korzak. There's a ton. That's got to make you feel good.
Yeah, I mean, we knew going through this process there was the prospects of a lot of Western Hockey League flavor on a roster. The kids did a great job of preparing themselves during this long off season for a camp like this, and we definitely feel comfortable with the players that are from our league that are on this team, and they're going to be integral parts of our success and going through this event.
I would literally. And our viewers probably wish that I would go through every single guy on the roster and get your thoughts. But we don't have time, and I don't want to take up your time doing that. But if I may, Quinton Byfield, there's something electric about him, right? LA Kings. I think it was second overall pick. Tell me what I need to know about Quinton Byfield. He excites me.
Well, the skill set and the talent is off the charts. I don't think you go second overall in the National Hockey League for a reason. His size, his ability to skate. I looked at his weight chart the other day. He's a 223-pound, 18-year-old kid that can skate like the wind. He's a power forward type that can make plays. He's got a bright future in the National Hockey League, and we expect big things from Q here in this event this year, especially based on being with us last year and the experience he gathered.
Your first, I'm going to skip past the pre-tournament games unless you have some thoughts on those. Your first game is Germany on Boxing Day. We're all going to be watching. What do you know about them?
Well, the Germans, I thought last year when we played them, they have some really good hockey players. I think German hockey has come a long ways, especially in the last 3 or 4 years in terms of presenting NHL prospects. So we expect them to give us everything and more. And they've got some real talented players. Like a lot of these countries, they've had to deal with a little bit of adversity on their roster as well with the COVID and having to leave some players home. So, that earns other opportunities for players on their roster to step up. And this event is so unique. So this in the sense that this is a wide open event, and we've got to make sure our guys are prepared to play the game, no matter our opponents. And the Germans are always a tough test in the World Juniors.
I got to be honest, Mitch, I think I asked you a little bit about this the last time we chatted, but I was stunned with all the NHL guys that we had on our show during the Stanley Cup playoffs in some cases and afterwards that there wasn't a mental coach that each team had. Kudos to the NHL. They'd made one available, but it sounded like a small handful of players took advantage of it. And I felt like the team that could withstand the mental grind would come out on top, and that ended up being the Tampa Bay Lightning. But the mental side of the game is huge. I mean, how are you guys dealing with that? Not just for yourselves, but for the players.
Well, we're pretty fortunate, Rod, and it's funny you bring up the Tampa Bay Lightning and their mental performance scenario during the bubble is we actually have the same mental performance coach that the Lightning had here with our team and with Team Canada. So Ryan Hamilton's his name. He's done a phenomenal job. He's done numerous events for Hockey Canada over the years. I've had plenty of experience with him at the U17 level to this level here last year. It's a very important piece. There's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress that goes into this thing. I understand there's no fans because of the bubble environment this year, but there is media, there is attention in that. We understand this is the only live hockey going on in the world right now. Once we start this tournament, so our players are going to go through that. We tell our guys to block out the noise. We're not defending a gold medal. We're chasing a gold medal. This is a new group of players. A new group of staff, and we got our own story to try to write here as we try to get to that final game on January 5th.
Well, that's awesome. And I know, Ryan, I didn't know you were using him, so that's great. But I can tell you this, Mitch, as you know, it goes fast. This was my team issued from 2012 when I was the voice of Team Canada on Sportsnet Radio. Like, whew, the build-up might be a little tedious for the guys, but as you know, once you get into it, there is no time almost to think or no downtime. Yeah, you know what? It's hard to believe that we've already been together, even though we've been in our hotel rooms for half of it, over 30 days. There's about 3 weeks left and a lot of hockey to be had. But man, I can't tell you how excited we are to get going and all our players and our staff. And it's been a long time coming. And, the amount of effort and sacrifice Hockey Canada's made with the IIHF to put this event on is outstanding. And I think it'll bring everybody a little bit closer in tough times here in 2020 to close out the year. Well, I speak for a lot of Canadians when I say I can't wait. We're watching extremely closely. Mitch, good luck. Merry Christmas, and I appreciate the time. Yeah, Merry Christmas to you guys as well there, Rod, and stay safe. Hockey Canada assistant coach Mitch Love joining us from the Edmonton bubble. It's our World Juniors preview special, and we'll be back in a moment. You're watching on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You need to adapt and you need to move forward. You can't be stuck in 1920. Direct West is on the top of their game. They know what they're doing, how they're doing it, and when you work with Direct West, things are good. There's no going backwards, they're moving forward. My business would not be where it is today without the help of Direct West to help me with my website and my Facebook and all my online presence. I've worked with Direct West for about 10 years, and it's been a great experience.
Hockey Harvest Lottery, presented by Great Western Brewing Company. Get your tickets now. The early bird deadline is November 27th, and the final draw held on December 21st. Find tickets on each WHL team's website and WHL.ca. Daily jackpot updates and Hockey Harvest Lottery news available daily on Twitter at Hockey Harvest. Rules and regulations can be found online at WHL.ca/Hockey Harvest Lotto. License number LR 200045.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-14.
IKS Live. IKS Live. Western Canada's premier production services company. LED sign rentals. Video production. Event management. Look no further than IKS Live. Visit our website. IKS Live. Always the best seat in the house. IKS Live.
Welcome back to the RP Show, everybody. It is our World Junior Special, and I can tell you we have indeed saved the best for last. We've been through Hockey Canada goalie coach Jason Labarabera, assistant coach Mitch Love, and Julie Robenhymer from Elite Prospects in the States. And now we're going to our World Juniors analyst, Rich Sutter, joining us from Lethbridge, Alberta. And Richie, the tournament is basically here. It begins next week, and the final cuts have been made. I guess maybe that's where I'll start, because the last time we chatted with you, I think they made the cuts like an hour or two after that. Were you surprised with who made it or who didn't?
I would say yes and no. I think there's always going to be room for conversation, sometimes pleasant, sometimes not so pleasant. But I think the biggest thing at the end of the day is the 2 weeks when they're in isolation in a roundabout way, I think hurt the club as well, helped the club. But I think what it did, it made the time, the window so much shorter to make quick decisions. And I think maybe also in that 2 week time of isolation, it also maybe gave them some insightfulness on how to reach some of these other kids differently that maybe they might have questioned or maybe they might have had higher thoughts of, which maybe allowed them to make some brash and probably some quick, shrewd decisions. And at the end of the day, I think the team, Hockey Canada, has learned in the past that it's not always about taking the 25 or 22 most talented, most gifted players. It's taking the ones that they feel can make the adjustments quicker, can play different roles quicker, can play different positions quicker, and just flat out buy in quicker. And that's not a knock on the other kids that did make it, because I think their time will come. There were some younger players that were cut that probably deserved more opportunity, but because of the timelines, it didn't allow it to happen.
There is no doubt this tournament's different because it's never been in a bubble before. And at the end of our interview, I'll ask you more about that. But you offered to give us a little broader perspective of the teams coming in here. I mean, Craig Button has predicted a Canada-Russia final. Julie Robenhymer from the States said earlier Russia is her favorite. You know, who are the best teams coming into this thing?
I think, it's you got to look at it. Things are going to happen so quick here. The adjustment is going to be so new and so relevant to these young players. If they didn't pay really acute attention to what went on in the bubble for the NHL teams, and if they didn't do their homework, each country, by showing video and clips that went on within the bubble and listening to the people from in the bubble, from their experiences, I think the ones that didn't get that information firsthand in the last few days are going to be the ones that are going to have trouble making the adjustments, because you can't afford to get behind here right away. And I think the ones that got that information, were able to dissect it, to digest it, are the ones that are going to make the best adjustments and adapt accordingly. That being said, look, it's a short term, and these guys aren't professional hockey players. They're not full-grown, mature adults to some point either. They're still kids. And a lot of things can happen in a very short period of time that can be good, bad, or indifferent. I think the team that is the most mentally strongest is going to be the team that's going to jump out and show some things early and probably carry the ball in the tournament. I think there's potential for at least 2 or 3 teams to be like that. And that's why I think it's going to be such a good and fun tournament to watch.
I'm just calling up the Russian roster here, and I actually, brain cramp, forgot that it was a gold medal game last year. Russia had a 2-goal lead in the third period, and Canada stunned them and came back and won. Askarov is their goalie. It's a no-doubter. Nashville took him 11th overall. Now, you guys in Columbus took a Russian with your first-round pick this year. Is he in the tournament?
Yes, he is. Chernakov is in the tournament. He's a kid that was on the radar of a lot of NHL teams last season, but they thought because he didn't play a lot that things could change over the course of last year's draft till now, and obviously it did from last June till October, which is 14 or 15 months later. What it gave our organization with a kid like Chernakov was, look, he was on our sight lines, and people would say, well, and I question it too, well, if he was there at 6 and 7 rounds, why didn't we take him then and just take a flyer on the kid that had the skill? What we saw, from what I've been told, he made the KHL team out of nowhere, and not many kids draft eligible are going to just do that. There are kids that get on rosters, Rod, in the Continental Hockey League, that basically sit on the roster and they don't dress, or they dress and they don't play. This kid came in at the right time and made the proper noise to do the right things, that took notice, that we took notice of, that other teams took notice of. I think that's why he kind of came out of nowhere at the end for the draft. Now, that being said, was at the right time to draft him? I guess time will tell. We feel the ability is there. We feel the skill set is there. We feel the makeup is there in this player. To do such that, it's going to take some time, but we also feel that this is going to be a big stepping stone for him. It's important that he plays well. It's not about scoring in this term. It's just about doing the right things. And I think he's going to be surrounded by a great group of other talented players in that hockey club. They're going to be a tough team to knock out. I don't care who's playing them. I look at that Russian lineup. There's so much skill right from the goaltending on out, individually and collectively. This is going to be one tough group, and I think the ace in their sleeve on this hockey club is going to be the man behind the bench. Igor Larionov, I know personally. He's a good friend. Just what he can do for young players and how he builds trust and confidence in this group. And I think he'll have them so prepared for anything that comes along that I'll be flat out surprised if I don't see Russia in the final game, at least playing in the gold medal game.
There you go. Going out on a limb. Big prediction. Thank you. Maybe a rematch of last year. Wouldn't that be something? But, Rich, I think the last time we talked on the phone, you were wondering about how many people per NHL team were going to get into the bubble. And I'm sure you've heard by now. But my people in Edmonton have said friends and family and 3 to 5 personnel per NHL team. Why is it so important for that eyeball test to be in the bubble? Like, why? Because the tournament's elevated. What does it tell the scouts about how your prospects and potential prospects play in this tournament? What's different?
Well, Rod, I think what's different is everything is so magnified in such a short period of time. And everything from good things to bad things that go on. And I really feel that the lens that we will all see them through in this tournament compared to other years is going to be so different. Look, all NHL teams and scouts and individuals tend to watch games differently in a different way than probably 99.9% of the fan. And that is part of my job it's just not to follow the puck. It's to follow everything that's going on around the play, behind the play, things that are leading up to plays, trends, tendencies, things that are going on that maybe the normal fan doesn't quite see. And that's what's going to make a tournament like this really difficult to follow. Because the time frame, because the lack of availability to get to see certain things, so it's going to be difficult. But I think we're all in the same boat as teams. I know there's a lot of I would say disappointment in a lot of the NHL teams not being able to get the accessibility or to be able to do the things that we would have wanted to do. But I guess we're all going to be given the same opportunity or lack of it, I guess, to do the same job. So it's going to be up to us to do our jobs and hopefully do them well.
The 05 Canadian team that won gold in Grand Forks is heralded as the greatest ever. I don't think you'd argue. I remember my dad coming back from Grand Forks just going, "Whoa, were those guys good?" And your brother coached them, did he not? Was Brent not on the bench of that team?
Yes, he coached that team, and everyone said that there would never be a better team that could play as well defensively as that team ever did. The following year, Brent took a team that was not as gifted, not as talented, but played better defensively and were even better the following year in Vancouver. So I just think even you look back, 15 years and 14 years, the game is even evolved still. I think you see a lot more emphasis put on offensive situations, a lot more on skill sets, pace of the game. Brent had a heck of a team those 2 years, especially the first year in Grand Forks. But this team, this is probably the best availability of group of talent for any country, even amidst the COVID, where some teams lost very good players heading into this tournament because of it, but I still think it's the best and most talented group collectively amongst the countries since then. And that's why I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Hey, just can we wind this up? Speaking of, you're in Lethbridge, he's in Red Deer. We found out last week that the WHL has suspended indefinitely their season, and there's a real threat of the Memorial Cup now not being handed out for 2 years. What's the feeling of junior hockey people in Alberta? Because they're devastated out here.
Well, I think, look, we're at the beck and call of this terrible thing that's gone on in our world here in the last 8 or 9 months, and until people get enough sense and seriousness about what we can do to help get this under control. It's a thing that continues to just fly around in the air, and in terms of the guessing game, And I think the best thing is that, yes, sure, people have done some tremendous and unbelievable things in the last few months about being able to get these vaccines in place and see how they play out and how they pan out and whether or not they work to what degree. But I think at the end of the day, first and foremost, Rod, it's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to the people who get to decide the seriousness of this nature that, yeah, no, it's just not a common flu. This is something that we have to take very, very serious. We have to do our parts. And it really, quite frankly, really seriously disappoints when I see people that don't buy in and are not willing to buy in, especially at this time, even though it's difficult leading up to Christmas. But now is a time more than ever where we have to be headstrong. We have to be smart. We have to be respectful for our elders, for people that are ourselves, our kids, everyone. And I think if the world continues to disrespect that, like they have shown, then this is what we're going to continue to get. And is it affecting everyone? Yeah, it's affecting a lot of things like sports. People in the world are missing sports. People want to see sports. We don't realize what we have until we haven't got it. And we have to really get on board with this, especially in the next month or two. I know your province put in the same guidelines as we did a few days ago. You did just yesterday. Look, we all have to be buying in here. And I feel that, look, the NHL, once they realize the importance of junior hockey in Canada, they realize the importance of draft years for these kids and development for these kids and the well-being for these kids, but also the well-being of the where these organizations are going to be come next fall if they can play or not play. We need hockey to go. And I'm not saying, yeah, it's not the be-all of end-all, but at the end of the day, I think for the future of our game, the future of our franchises, the future of our fans, the future of these kids moving forward, there's the people that are in higher circles than we are that want to see this go, but they also realize the value that things have to take place. And what I said just a couple minutes ago, that have to have happened in order for it to happen.
You betcha. Rich Sutter, well said. Merry Christmas, my friend. Always good to see you, and we'll chat with you once this tournament gets going.
Yes, for sure.
Our World Juniors analyst, Rich Sutter, joining us from Lethbridge. When we come back, overtime, you're watching the RP Show. It's our World Junior special on Game Plus TV, Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Updating and improving your air conditioning system does not need to be difficult. You can breathe easy with our 100% satisfaction guarantee, flexible financing options, and maintenance programs. We will be with you throughout the process from start to finish. Contact us today so we can help you breathe a little easier. 306-781-2090.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
It's year-end clearance at Capital GMC. The Capital Auto Group is giving away $50,000. That's a $10,000 cash prize at each Capital store in Western Canada. Get the hottest deals on all new and used vehicles, the highest trade-in values of the year, and savings up to $20,000. Oh yeah, and did we mention you can enter to win cold, hard cash? All this and more during Capital's year-end clearance. Check out capitalgmc.ca. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
And welcome back, everybody. It's our final segment. We call it Overtime here on the RP Show with Moose DuPont. Wonderful job by yourself and the crew here of our Christmas intros and stuff.
Yeah.
Feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It feels good to be in the holiday mood, right?
It does feel like a special Christmas, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's been a special World Juniors preview, and I hope to do this for the next 25 years on the old RP Show. And this is the final segment. So I'm not sure if we've convinced you as to who the favorites might be or who you think the winners are going to be. But a big thank you to our guest today, Jason Labarabera, the goaltenders coach of Hockey Canada, Julie Robenhymer from EliteProspects.com in the United States, and Mitch and Rich. Mitch Love and Rich Sutter. What do you think Canada's confidence level is? Sky high because it's at home going in, or a lot of pressure? They're teens, right? We tend to forget that.
Yeah, that's right. And it's going to be different. I mean, there's not the family time and all those things that go along with the World Juniors. You know, when you get to be in those communities and stuff on days off and whatever, it's all going to look different. It's all going to feel different. I think it's going to be nice for them to get out and play. I don't know what they're going to feel in terms of pressure. That's a really, really good question. I think we'll find out pretty early just on how their body language is on the ice. But it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for them to get out there. Canada, I really like this roster. I think they're really deep. I think there's a lot of talent there. I love the Western representation, selfishly from the Western Hockey League. I mean, you got two goaltenders from the Western Hockey League. You look at all those defensemen, Caden Korczak and Caden Gooley and Bowen Byram, Braden Schneider. Like, that's four defensemen right there from the Western Hockey League. And then up front, they're going to be led by Western Hockey Leaguers, right? You look at Kirby Dock, Dylan Cousins, Peyton Krebs. They're going to be leaders on this team, which I really like. So Canada's good. They're really deep, and I'm excited for this to get started.
Well, and you mentioned the goalies. Jason Labarabera told us last hour that they do not know who the starting goaltender is going to be for Game 1 for Canada against Germany, so that's something to watch over the next couple of days. That's exciting. They haven't made a decision yet. But I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I hope you don't mind. And you're very good with this.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't expect you're going to have the answers. You may.
Okay.
Little rapid fire that I stole from TSN, where Mark Masters has been asking the players this. Have you seen his quizzes that he's done for the guys?
Yeah, I see those a little bit.
And you know what? As a guy that's been around hockey my whole life, and I see these kids, like it's Dylan Holloway and Cole Perfetti.
Yep.
They were nailing the answers to these questions.
Whoa.
And you know what that told me? Is these guys are dialed in.
Hockey guys.
Like, they're smart. They're fans.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just bubbleheads like Letterkenny just show up for a hockey tournament.
Right.
Like, they're dialed in. So when was the last time Canada won gold at home? Sorry.
At home?
Yeah, at home.
4 years ago.
I thought the same thing.
Right? It wasn't 2 ago, was it? Because they won.
I'm just saying you had the exact
same answer as you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, it's supposed to be rapid fire.
I know. Well, we got time. I'm on the stationary bike. I'm pedaling away, and Mark Masters had that question of the guys. He goes, "When was the last time Canada won gold?" And I'm like, last year. But he kept, just like you just did, but he kept going and said on home ice. And I had to think about it for a while, and it was, well, go ahead.
Well, the 2016, 2017.
Do you remember where?
That was in Ottawa, wasn't it? In Toronto, like that?
It was 2015 in Toronto.
Yeah.
Was the answer. So that's technically 5 years ago. So I guess they did go back to back. I think that was the year. Clark, you can tell me, was it not Toronto, Montreal? They went between those two. Those were the major centers.
Oh, okay, not Toronto, Ottawa.
And that was Domi for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to say McDavid. I think. I got to go back and look at the roster. But it was 2015 in Toronto, which was pretty well supported. We obviously all watched it.
Yes.
You mentioned all the WHL flair. So dare I ask you, which league is represented the most on this World Juniors team?
Probably still the Ontario Hockey League.
You should have stuck with your gut.
Really? Wow.
It's the Western Hockey League.
Well, you get 2 goaltenders, 4 defensemen, and at least 4 forwards.
Isn't this fun?
Yeah, this is great.
Who pays to watch SportsCenter every night? That's where I'm getting all these. Which NHL team has the most prospects on Hockey Canada, on Team Canada?
Vegas.
No, but they have a few.
Yeah.
Because that's my team, as you know. Kaden Korzak, Peyton Krebs. It's the Colorado Avalanche. And, of course, me being the blockhead that I am, I'm looking at that going, oh, yeah, Cale McClure. Wait a minute. He's on the Avalanche.
Yeah, he's not playing. He's not playing.
He's not playing for Team Canada. But anyways, kudos. And Wade Klippenstein, one of the top scouts there for the Colorado Avalanche, good friend of ours, coached in the Junior A out here, Western Hockey League. Great job by the Colorado Avalanche to have the most prospects on the team. And what was the other one? Who's the youngest player on the team? It would have been easy.
Yeah.
Had Shane Wright
continued,
continued, but he was the exceptional player. He was released. Do you want me to give you some hints? Think this year's NHL draft class. Who just went?
I know. It's
the most recent guys.
Quentin Byfield.
Ding, 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 ding. You got it. I got a chocolate for you.
Hey, I got 1.5 out of 5 or whatever.
That's right. But, you know, it's fun when you sit there and watch those interviews with the guys. And again, they just about got all of the correct answers. So it tells me that the players are dialed in. They know what they're playing for. And furthermore, for the bubble, I don't just have to speak about, you know, my time calling the World Juniors. Take a shot. But just junior hockey in general. Like I remember Carey Price saying when the Montreal Canadiens went into the Stanley Cup bubble in Toronto, he said, this isn't a whole lot different from junior. Practice and go home. And then go back to the rink and then go home. Go out to eat, get something to eat, go home. That's their life on a normal day in junior hockey.
Right.
You know that. They're probably going to school, but they're going to the rink and they're going home. Yeah. It's a triangle. Now it's just a straight line. And I've seen it. You get on the bus and you go to the rink and you go back to the hotel. Those guys were in a bubble anyways. You see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's their life, especially the ones who are dialed in. That's when it gets, you know, you get that little bit of consistency in your routine. But it's special. You're putting on a different jersey, the maple leaf, and that means something. And, you know, you look at the Schneiders, right? Did you see the mom and dad had to change the Christmas lights?
The PA guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're from PA.
Oh, they're from PA. Yeah. But he played with Brandon.
Yeah.
They had white lights on the house, and she made Dad go up there and take out every second light bulb, and string up red and white lights. Now
he could have died,
but he said, "You know what? It's not every day your kid makes Team Canada. Like it means something. These kids all grew up watching this every Christmas, never thinking that they would play for Team Canada. It's cool."
Keep talking. I'm calling up that 2015 Team Canada roster.
But that's
just to make sure that I have it.
But that's cool. And then it's kind of like the summer hockey too for these guys, right? So you talk about that routine, but they're with a different group of guys. So it's not really casual where you just show up and, oh, hey, Mike, oh, hey, Ryan, hey, you know, so-and-so. It's like, guys, what were you doing? What were you doing? Like, this is so cool, right? It's neat.
Good job. I found it.
Oh, good.
And I cracked a sweat there for a second, thinking that was the McDavid year, right? My eyes weren't tricking me. Are you ready? The last time Canada won World Junior Gold at home, 2015 in Toronto. At the time, the Air Canada Centre, the goalies were Eric Comrie, the Tri-City Americans, and Zachary Foucault of the Q, Montreal Canadiens draft choice. Is he still a Montreal system? Because they're not talking about him in the future. Yeah, no. Thank you. Yeah, he's not. So, moving on. Defenseman, Joe Hicketts, Dylan Hetherington, Madison Bowie, Samuel Morin, Shea Theodore. I can't believe he's that young. Thought he was older than that. Josh Morrissey and Darnell Nurse.
Whoa.
Pretty good blue line.
I'd say.
And how about this star-studded? We might have to have another poll here as to who is the best World Junior team ever. At least put these guys in the mix. Braden Point, Anthony Duclair, Max Domi, Connor McDavid. You might have heard of him. Jake Virtanen, Nick Patan, Nick Paul, Nick Ritchie, Frederick Gauthier, Sam Reinhart, Curtis Lazar, Lawson Krause, and Robbie Fabry.
Oh, deep. That is deep, right? That is really, really deep. And a lot of guys going on to play pros and
be stars.
And be stars. That's cool. That's a really, really good group. And this year's group, we're going to be doing the same thing 5 years from now or 6 years from now.
I think so.
I really do.
Do you feel like some of the excitement's going to be lost being in the bubble and no fans in there?
We'll find out. So we kind of had the same questions for the NHL, right? And that seemed to go off pretty well without a hitch. I wonder how they're going to decorate it, if it'll be any different, if there'll be any, festive Christmas kind of arena decor. I don't know what they're going to do. So that's part of the suspense for me. I think some of that emotion, the bang on the boards, Canada scores, lights going, horns going, that might be, but it'll all be how the kids react, right? See what kind of emotions they have. That'll be cool.
Well, now that you say that, and I think we only got a couple minutes left, thank you, Clark, for putting that up. One more look at Canada's roster. It gets opening on Boxing Day against Germany, primetime game. You see the New Year, it closes round-robin play against Finland on New Year's Eve, all at Rogers Place in Edmonton. But let me ask you this. Is there ever a time in your life that you didn't think of the World Juniors as the thing? Because I'm at least old enough to remember when it was just a hockey tournament, and it was actually empty in most arenas around the world. Now we're packing rinks in Canada and doing pretty well in the United States. But do you ever remember it not being a really huge thing?
No, I don't. I don't remember being a Canadian every second year, that's for sure. I remember when it wasn't. And my earliest memories, full masks, right? The white and red shirt with the multiple leaves on it, and Paul Romanuk doing play-by-play. That's my first memory of the World Juniors.
A pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, a huge thank you to our guests today. A huge thank you to producer Clark for lining them up. Mitch and Rich here in this Game Plus hour. Mitch Love, assistant coach of Hockey Canada. Rich Sutter, our World Juniors analyst, whom we're going to hear from throughout the program, throughout the tournament. And I hope that we do with Mitch Love, too. Said he wanted to.
Yeah.
So as long as he's able to. Goaltenders coach Jason Labarabera. And from USA Hockey, which is not actually with USA Hockey, she covers it for Elite Prospects.com, Julie Robenhymer. So that brings us to a close, episode 387. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central and noon Eastern, right here on Game Plus.